Okay, hiya Jonah.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of Album Check. This week we're talking about the Sparks album Lil Beethoven. I'm very excited to talk about this because I sort of recently got really into Sparks. The Edgar Wright, who's one of my favorite directors, released a documentary in them, and it was awesome. And so I've just kind of fallen into the
hmm
Sparks rabbit hole.
I see. Um, I was aware of them before you suggested that we did this album. I think you'd listened to them at least a bit before, hadn't you?
Yeah, so I only found out about them by hearing about Edgar Wright making this documentary. This was a few years ago, and so I'd checked out some of their stuff. They had an album that came out last year that I really liked,
hmm
and they were supposed to be playing near me, but obviously pandemic happened, so
Sad
never
times.
never even got to like booking tickets. But yeah, so I was like sort of familiar, and then saw the documentary, and then kind of went deeper in because they've got
Yeah,
25
yeah,
albums.
I saw. Like these guys are old. They've been doing this for a while.
I mean, I've a fair bit of context because I've seen the documentary. I believe you haven't.
No, I haven't. No,
So how much do you know about Sparks?
I know they're old, and I know that they're known for being very eclectic and consistent and just switching things up like a lot.
Mm.
But beyond that, I know like I couldn't name an album aside from this one.
So just for some context, so it's two brothers like Ron and Russell Mail,
hmm
and yeah, they are essentially Sparks. There's been other members that have kind of come in and out, and they never really got like big. They were kept. They've put out 25 albums.
Mm.
They kept making music, but they never really broke through. Their like biggest success was a song called like "This Town Ain't Big Enough for the both of us,"
Okay.
and they did like sort of well in the UK. Um, but they're sort of having a little bit of a resurgence because of this documentary, and they've got a
Right.
film that they've written that's coming out
I I,
with like Adam
ass-
Driver in it.
I assume they've got sort of a cult following to them.
Yeah, they've got a cult following because they are a bit eclectic and weird, and one of the guys has like a Hitler mustache, and he's had that for a while,
hmm
which is not a common.
No, that's a bit weird.
So they're definitely a unique and odd bunch. So this was your first Sparks album then,
Yes, definitely. I don't even know if I've heard a song from them before, to be honest.
right? So I don't know, I'm really excited to hear what you think about this. So shall we start with the first song on Little Beethoven, "The Rhythm Thief"?
Yes. Um, what did I? Right. I guess my feelings on each individual track on this kind of are relatively consistent among across each track in that I think there's great musicianship and a lot of personality and I just don't care about it at all. This is not my vibe.
No.
It makes complete sense to me that you like this. Like it's just if I'd heard this and told you about it, I'd be like, Connor will love this. But yeah, this starting from this song, I'm not that into this.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, this is gonna be an interesting episode because I love this. I
Yeah,
think
I
this
thought you would.
I think this is great. It's so I want it so obviously the album's named Little Beethoven, so it has a kind of orchestral
mm,
through
that's,
line to it.
hmm
And this starts and you get like all these like strings and this like almost like rhythm,
hmm
which I find very amusing. And
hmm
then just the idea of like a rhythm thief. This guy is the personification of it.
hmm
I love like the image of this evil character who's stealing the rhythm, and then that like the way he says like say goodbye to the beat, and
Oh
there's
no,
I love
I
that.
don't. No. Yeah, that doesn't work for me. there's one like the lights out Ibiza. That's very very funny.
Yeah.
Um, but it's this kind of clashing aesthetic of the comedic aspect of it and the orchestral aspect that I find difficult to grapple with. Like I could enjoy a lot of the instrumentation, and I just wish there was some like serious lyrics going over the top.
Hmm.
But there's just these strange sense of humor, which I don't mind on its own, but I just don't like the way these two things merge together. I get excited by the instruments, and then the lyrics, the singing lets me down.
Oh no, I'd love it. Like the lights out Ibiza is just so funny because it's said in such like a kind of sarcastic, dramatic way.
Hmm.
It's so like over the top.
Mm.
And they like say goodbye to the beat, and there's like no percussion throughout the entire rest of the album.
Yeah, that is clever. I'll give them that.
Which I love that. And there's like, oh, I don't know, I love it. It's like 5 minutes long, which is quite a long song,
Mm.
but it still sustains it for me.
Ah, well, I mean, something that we'll come back to a lot on this album is there's a lot of repetitive lyrics. Like they will write a hook and then
Mm.
squeeze the life out of it.
Yes, yes, they
And
do.
look, they probably do it better than a lot of other people could, but I still my dumb monkey brain gets bored and I just want to listen to something else.
Mm.
Um, like there's good qualities to this song. I do find the string ensemble quite exciting. Like there's a lot of intensity to it. Um, there's like I think it's a MIDI choir later on. It actually sounds really really good. It's quite subtle. It's not really prominent in the mix.
Yeah. The choir at the end is like it's so eerie and ethereal, and it's what's so impressive to me is this entire album, pretty much everything, apart from I believe the drums and or there's apparently just some like drumming and the guitar is all on a keyboard. Everything, all the
The
strings.
guitar is on a
Sorry,
keyboard.
apart from the guitar.
Oh, but still, like I mean, there's high quality sample libraries you can get now, but generally they're not a substitute for the real thing. So that's quite cool. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, so it's literally this entire album was like produced and made by these two guys in their in one of their homes, and like almost
That's cool. I
entirety of the
respect that.
instruments are on a keyboard.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's cool. Um, but yeah, no, there's aside from that, there's this like goofy brass that comes in at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I can't decide if I like it or not. I guess it's sort of because the rest of the instrumentation is so dramatic, and I enjoy that. But then you've got the goofy lyrics, and I think the brass complements those, but the wider sound of it, it doesn't really fit into me. But yeah, no, I'm mid on this track. I don't hate it, but I just get really quite bored.
Yeah, fair enough. I can understand how I disagree, but I respect your opinion.
Okay.
Now we get on track two. How do I get to Carnegie Hall? Now this I had sent this to you beforehand,
Yeah.
and I know you don't like this one either.
No.
Has your opinion changed? No.
No. That weird like frantic sequenced piano. Um, I haven't heard anything like it, and I wish I hadn't heard anything like it because it's
What?
just so annoying to me. Like
Really?
I just hate that the whole aesthetic of this song. Even the strings on this one, they don't do much for me, and the vocals either. It's just I don't know. I don't enjoy the goofiness combined with the dramatic aspects of it. I want like I could find these kind of lyrics funny over like a goofy, quirky little hip hop beat, but I want more from it lyrically, given how grand the instrumentation could be. Um,
Oh, I find it so much fun because it just gets straight into it. Just that the
it's
super fast
yeah,
piano and the voice
it
comes
comes
in.
in at pace.
Yeah, and it's so like bombastic, and it's like, how do I get to Carnegie Hall? And it's it's like like he's genuinely kind of lost and asking for directions, and
That
it
like the delivery on this for what they're trying to do, I can tell is very good.
yeah, it's
And it
brilliant.
goes for sort of everything. Like if I evaluate this clinically and objectively, it's good, but I just
So
not for
each
me.
like individual element you think is good and well done, but it's
Well,
just it is the merging of
yeah,
the kind of
yeah,
comic and the serious that just doesn't mesh for
yeah.
you.
No, it's just it doesn't. Yeah, I they kind of cancel each other out, and I'm left with
Ah,
nothing.
yeah, I guess that's a tricky thing because that's what kind of makes a lot of this really special and exciting for me.
Mm.
Because I sent you the live performance of this song.
That the stage, the setup they had was quite amusing.
It's hilarious because they have uh I get mixed up between which is Ron versus Russell, but the keyboard player, and he's got these super long fake arms on that are playing the piano, and he's like, you know, 2 meters away from the piano, but his arms are reaching and playing. He's obviously not playing it, but it just looks so funny, especially when the piano is so frantic.
Mm.
Um. Anyway, but yeah, apart from the live elements of the song, I still think the song is so catchy. I really like the "How Do I Get to Carnegie Hall." I like the practice.
Hmm.
Um, really fun. I find it kind of motivating in a way.
Really? Is
Yeah,
this like a hype song to you?
a little bit, but it's kind of
That's
funny.
mad to
I mean,
me.
it's not like Black Skinhead or anything, which is
Okay.
that's a hype song.
Yeah.
But and I love so much whenever it um the song like switches and you get like the strings kind of come in, and it's the lyrics are sung almost from like the perspective of the Carnegie Hall building,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and I just, talking about all the stuff that's um inside the building and designed for you, and I love that. I think it's just so fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not surprised at all. I expected you to have that exact opinion. um. Okay. Then we get what are all these bands so angry about? This one I enjoy a bit more.
Oh, that's interesting. I would have thought you'd have been less keen on this one.
No, because they like they switch up the the lyrics a lot more on this one.
Okay.
Um, I get I get Beatles vibes from this one, sort of
Oh,
at the
really?
beginning, and then later on when the piano comes in, that sounds very Queen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, the production on this is pretty cool. There's like this kind of Optimus Prime Transformer synth sound in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I really, really, really wish I could get that on its own because I want to sample it, but I can't. Um, yeah, I think like lyrically, it's sort of about the arrogance of bands that are kind of waning in relevance. I think
Oh, is that what you think?
that's what I thought.
That's an
I could be
interesting
talking
take.
beans.
Because I'm really not entirely sure what to make of it.
There's certain I didn't write them down because I'm an idiot. But there's certain lyrics that led me towards that, like our profane ain't profane enough. Hey everybody, they called our bluff. Like to me, that kind of implies these old bands are just angry that no one's listening to them anymore. Um,
Oh,
and as Sparks kind of, as far as I'm aware, sort of pride themselves on kind of switching it up a lot. So I think they're saying, "Oh no, that's your fault if you're not connecting with the people anymore. That's on you, you know."
see, that's interesting. Were you aware of the context of this album came out
N-
with in terms of?
Not even a little bit.
Yeah, so it's the album preceding this is called Balls, and it did not do very well, like critically or commercially, and they had like written kind of songs in the style of Balls as a kind of follow up album,
Mm,
um, but based on the reception of it, we're like, okay, scrap that. We need to just kind of do something
right.
completely different,
Mm.
which kind of result in this album. So yeah, it's interesting that in the lyrics you
Mm.
kind of got the impression that they
Yeah.
needed to like talk about
Um,
switching things up.
I'm seeing one now. Like, hey everybody, what do you say? Someone's bounced us from center stage. I guess that kind of states that more explicitly to me, anyway.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's where I got from it. I enjoyed this one more. This is probably one of my favorite ones on here, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of kept thinking about like the kind of rock bands of the 90s and the kind of
Mm.
Nirvana and stuff, and I wondered if there were what are these bands so angry about was kind of just a response to
Oh,
that kind of music and just
why is everybody so
yeah,
mad?
yeah, literally, like looking at like Nirvana and being like, why are you so obviously that quite a bit before, but
Mm.
yeah, why are you so angry? What are you angry about? Because
Yeah.
this band is so light. You
Mm.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely.
you know, there is absolutely no anger in any of these songs.
No, not even a little bit.
So I don't know, just to make an entire song about just not getting that, I find really funny.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
good song.
good song. I love I love the intro at the start with all the kind of layered vocals, make it sound like a big crowd kind of singing it.
Mm.
And then the way like at the end they have the kind of distort the voice and it says some line I don't have the lyrics up, something to the effect of like some might have done it, but not today.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. It just sounds great, and I love the theme, and I'm glad you like this one. I'm glad there's one you at least enjoy.
Yeah, like I genuinely I don't despise the album. It's just sort of it's not unpleasant to listen to. It's just I'm sort of numb to it.
Mm.
Um Next we get I Married Myself.
And now, come on, you've gotta like this one.
I want to. It just frustrates me a lot. I
Ah,
really, really want more lyrical progression on this one.
hmm
Like there's specifically the line is like when he's talking about I married myself, I'm very happy together. And then he says, this time it's gonna last, this time it's gonna last forever, forever, forever.
hmm
And see, I want them to like extend off on that. Like, is there some kind of dramatic irony there and it won't last forever? Or
there
is this
is.
but I
But he's
want
like,
more from it.
there's like, this time it's gonna last. You know,
It's
which is
I just
so funny.
I just want more the same lyrics over and over again. I think he kind of gets his point across very early on and then it's just like repeating it and slogging through it. It doesn't sound terrible. Like the vocals do sound quite cool on this one. There's a weird, I don't know if it's like a chorus effect or a light vocoder, but I enjoy that.
But like
And
the
there's like
start,
a wind lead, but yeah.
you get you get the kind of the strings, and he's talking about like marrying himself, and then you get that little like saxophone in the background.
I yeah, I like the saxophone.
That's just so much fun, and it's quite
Hmm.
like a romantic instrument, and this is just such a hilarious idea for a song. Like, obviously, romance and love is a very common topic for songs and in music, but to kind of flip it on its head a wee bit and talk about like marrying himself, I just think is hilarious. And then you do get that kind of real dark, sad, depressing twist on it where he's like, this time it's gonna last, this time it's gonna last
Mm.
forever. And it's like, did he get married to someone else before, or has he previously married himself and
Okay,
found out that it didn't work?
yeah. Like yeah, I just personally wanted some more extension on that. There are some qualities to this song that I find hilarious, like the "Hey baby, how you
Hey
doing? You're
baby,
fine." It's
how you
so funny.
doing?
It's just the thought of someone talking to themselves in a mirror speaking like that is hilarious to me.
Y-
Um,
yeah, I love that so much. That always makes me laugh.
um, There's like gorgeous. I don't know if it's a xylophone or it's some
Yeah,
kind
the
of drumming
xylophone.
sound. It sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's just so like optimistic, and it's quite like cute. And then I love how I imagine you probably hate this part, but it's the bit where they go like dit dit dile dit dit dile.
Oh no, I like
Oh,
that.
you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know, I really like that because it's kind of it's a little silly and light and frolicking, and then they kind of have the chorus, and then that, or sorry, the long long walks on the beach, and then it like overlaps with the dilly dilly. I'm
Mm,
describing this horrendously, but
mm,
I really like how they go over each other. Have you seen the
okay.
music video for this?
No.
It is hilarious.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
It's
give that a watch after.
it's a cow. He's like, I don't know, for some reason he's a cow. He's got like it's a guy with a cow head on, and
Right.
that's who's marrying
um.
themselves.
Um. And that's so weird.
Mhm.
Um. In this song, in particular, I get sort of like a. I guess the album as a whole, but it really stands out in this one. I get sort of like a musical theater vibe to it,
Yeah,
and
it's so theatrical.
that's what kind of made me think you'd like it so much.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, no. Again, I there's some good elements to them, but they all kind of don't mesh well together for me, and I just left wanting more.
See, I love kind of melodrama and
Mm,
theatrics and things that are a little exaggerated and over the
mm.
top.
I guess all
Um,
music is sort of like that to an extent, but yeah, no, that makes sense to me.
yeah, and I really just like this band's sense of humor because they're like not quite a comedy band. They're not a comedy band, but they're funny.
Mm,
You know, because like Weird Al Yankovic, he is like a comedy musician. He writes funny songs and sets out to
mhm,
write songs that are funny. But like
mm,
this band has really good songs and then songs that are funny.
mhm,
Um, yeah, which I don't know, it's really overlaps with my sense of humor,
mhm,
and yeah, I really appreciate that about them.
mhm. Yeah, that's cool. Um, then we get Ride 'Em Cowboy.
Mm. You like the
Um,
chorus on this one, right?
yeah, yeah, I do. Of course I do. um, the I get this one also gives me heavy musical theater vibe.
Mm.
Look, I have not a notion what this song is about. Um, I just like the chorus. It's dramatic. I think the weird synth is cool. Aside from that, I don't know what to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, this one it kind of I Married Myself is a little lighter, but this kind of returns like back to the dramatics. You know, you get again like the two pianos going at once, and
Mm,
then that like Ride 'em Cowboy Ride 'em chorus. It goes though like crazy. There's just such pace to it.
mm.
Um,
The way he said like "ride 'em" is also there's a lot of kind of momentum to it.
yeah, yeah, that's a great point. Just the way he kind of leads that R in and goes
Uh
into it.
huh. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I kind of thought the song was about things kind of like going wrong because it keeps going from like the good thing to the bad thing, like
Oh.
from like open door to murder lore, which is like
Mm.
French for shit, which is just very funny, or
Mhm.
like my favorite line is from just desserts to just deserts, or just
Oh yeah. That's low hanging fruit, but it's also sort of funny.
yeah, it's kind of like
Um,
a Kanye line.
it is, yeah. Flipping now that you're saying that the line a state of mind then card declined is extremely funny.
Yeah.
That's clever.
I think, see, apparently they get often mixed up as being a British band, and I think
I kind of assumed that.
yeah, I assumed that initially as well whenever I first heard them and didn't get it like corrected, and because they're American, but they did have like
Okay. Do you know where in America?
I couldn't tell you where,
Okay.
but I think part of the reason why is because they seem to have quite a what is kind of seen as be like a British sense of humor because they're
Yeah,
quite
it's quite blunt
and it's
and
self-deprecating. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like on like I Married Myself. This is not a band that gets the girl.
No, definitely not.
This is
There's a song about that later,
yeah,
but we'll get to
but like
that.
this is like they're David Brent, not Michael Scott. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Um, and yeah, I really like that about them. I love
I
the way they like laugh at themselves as well,
I cannot believe they're not British. That's
isn't
insane.
it?
Yeah.
You just kind of totally assume there,
Mm,
but yeah, I don't know. I
that's
love I
right.
love the song. I love the chorus. Um,
That is the chorus is a lot of fun. Like it weirdly it actually goes hard, like properly
yeah,
hard, which I wasn't expecting.
yeah. No, it kind of does like hype you up a little bit.
Mm.
Okay,
Um,
so I assume My Baby's Taking Me Home. How much do you hate this?
uh, I can't describe how any one musical element makes me feel. Like I with music I'm just big into like individual sounds. Like I'll hear just one instrument even if it plays for a second and I'll get like excited, but I just get like nothing from this at all in that regard.
Damn,
It's just
harsh.
it's just so completely neutral. um I okay, no, I do like the sort of, it sounds like the chorus is sort of like chopped up on a sampler,
Hmm.
which sounds pretty cool to me. Um, but yeah, there's like a wide ensemble of sounds on this, and just not really any of them resonate. But equally, none of them are unpleasant. So it's a weird song for me.
Oh, see, my first note on this is just this one's just amazing to me. I mean,
Really,
yeah, I think this is kind. It reminds me of Green Eggs and Ham. You may very much disagree with this criticism or this opinion. Because I assume that you really hate the fact that there's only one lyric.
um, yeah, yeah. It's like Around the World by Daft Punk, but it
Yes, actually, that's a
doesn't
great
have
comparison.
the energy or the production to back it up.
Oh, see, yeah, I again, weirdly, the entire song is just him singing "My Baby's Taking Me Home," and
Mm. Except for like one verse very late on.
mm, and but like for me, the instrumentation is kept interesting enough that um it doesn't bother me that there's only the one lyric. I think it's and
Mm,
he very slightly changes the way he says or
mm,
enunciates each word. Um, I don't know, I just find that music interesting. I love how we start with that kind of piano loop that continues pretty much the whole way throughout, and you just kind of it just kind of keeps introducing um new sounds and instruments, and then like backing off from them, and
mm,
it just keeps it from like being stale.
mhm.
And I find that chorus like so catchy. I love the way he sings
It
it. I love when like it comes in with more people singing "My Baby's Taking Me Home."
it does have a sort of freaky robotic aesthetic to it, the
Hmm.
chorus, which I quite like. But beyond that, it's just like it doesn't get stale. It's just no, when some new element is introduced, I don't care for it.
Not even
So
the
it's
guitar.
not particularly, just
Ah,
mid.
and again, just like hilarious. As we walk through the morning rain, a rainbow appears, but we're both colorblind. Like, how
like
sad is that?
like the if you read me these lyrics on their own, I think they were quite good. But by this point in the song, I'm just sick of it.
Mm.
So I just want to move on. You
They
know.
in There's one specific live performance I've seen on YouTube. Actually, it's worth pointing out. Even though I'm getting the impression you don't like this album, you should still. I would recommend like looking up some of their like live performances because they're just really funny
Okay.
and they're worth watching. But there's
Yeah, I could enjoy that aspect of it.
yeah, there's like I don't know, there's one I was watching and the other guys just kind of doing this like really strange dance in the background and like anyway, but on one of the live performances of this song. they have like 3 microphones set up, and they're he will switch between each microphone to sing "My Baby's Taking Me Home," and it will um each microphone is like panned to a different direction, so the audience hears each
Oh,
thing from a different,
that's clever. That's really creative.
which is just kind of a fun thing to do
Mm,
for a live show.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's clever. I like the thought and care put into that.
Mm. But yeah,
Um,
I love this. I love this song. That's probably my favorite song on the album.
I think this next one is for me. Your call's very important.
Oh,
Right, this sort of breaks the consistent theme that you probably recognize that I've had with this, the clashing aesthetics.
mm.
I think they work so well on this one. I can't particularly articulate why. I guess because it's sort of it feels like this battle between him and the person
Yeah,
on the phone. And he sounds like so genuinely confused. It's just so funny to me.
yeah. Like at first she said, and then your call is very important to us. Yeah, I mean this one really showcases like the genius of Sparks for me. Like
Mhm.
so much music is and songs is about kind of love or like sadness or I want this thing or I'm feeling
Yeah.
this thing. And this is a song about being left on hold on the phone.
It's such a, like, obvious but equally clever kind of thing to observe
Yeah.
and then, like, kinda dissect. Like, it's just hilarious, the concept of this song.
Like what other artist when like mining for inspiration for a song would dig up
Yeah.
being left on hold?
No one. That's so weird and wonderful, and just the way they approach it, like the I died when I heard the green, green light,
Like
red light. It's so that's a comedy genius.
I
That's so funny.
I think the way like what makes it like so much funnier is it's played completely straight. It's but the strings and like the music is so like serious and over the
Mm,
top,
yeah.
because again, the whole orchestral thing that's going throughout this album, like the piano at the start is so tense,
Mm,
and the strings become even like more intense as the song
mm.
progresses.
I
And
love
then
the build up and the swells on this. They add a lot to the comedy.
yeah, and like
Even though it's, like, again, like, a lot of the same lyrics over and over again.
you don't mind it so much in this one.
No, I don't know why it works for me. It's just the image of this guy on the phone, like, at war with and this person just like, "Let me through, please."
Like if you just took the away the lyrics and the vocals and you just had the instrumentation,
Mm,
you could put like parts of this over like a dramatic movie scene.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Um, which just makes it so much funnier when
Mhm.
the lyrics reveal it's being on hold.
Yeah, definitely.
And then there's that like at the end, like, "Sir, I'm gonna have to put you back on hold."
Yeah.
It just makes it even funnier.
Also, the samples of him like, "Hello?"
Yeah.
Like,
Hello.
it's so good. It's just like, "Please." Like, oh, it's fantastic. The
I love how he never gets through. He never
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
through.
it's very sad. Very, very sad. Uh,
I'm glad you like this one.
yeah.
Because it's great. Yeah, great song. Sounds great, and it's very funny. Okay, so next song is "Ugly Guys with Beautiful Girls." It really loses me on this one. This
That's
is
quite surprising.
Yeah, this is the weakest one on the album. I
I
think.
don't think it's I think it's decent. Like, it's fine.
Why would this be one of the better ones for you?
Um I don't know about that. Well, yeah, no, I guess so. I think the lyrical variety on this one makes it more interesting to me.
Mm.
Although it is a bit of a weird sort of sonic detour that I'm not sure is welcome.
Yes,
Um,
I completely agree.
but yeah, no, it's okay. I'm entertained by it, but I'm not sure it really fits in the album.
You see, I really like the start with that like light piano,
Mm.
and then we get that like what,
Oh, I
and it
love
kind
that. That sounds cool to me.
oh no, that just where it completely throws me, and
Okay.
it gets a little more kind of metally, and there's this really prominent guitar, and there's guitar in other songs, but it just does not work here and really sticks out.
Yeah, the guitar I'm not huge. I sort of like this shredding sound that it has, but the sort of the specific notes they play, that melody doesn't really, or I don't know if it's chords melody, who knows. It doesn't, it's not fantastic.
Mhm.
Um
Like, I like the idea of this song,
mm,
ugly guys and beautiful girls. I and the I quite like the line "It ain't done with smoke and mirrors." I just hate the way it's delivered and it sounds. I just
okay, no, I enjoyed that. That's interesting.
yeah, I don't know. I just wish this was more like the rest of the album. I don't
Mm,
know why this is here because it does just feel like such a detour.
yeah,
And this is a 7-minute song.
it
Uh,
is. It's bloated.
it's too long. It's
Um
too long.
I guess throughout the whole album I've been sort of craving some like longer verses and stuff.
Mm,
And I finally get it here, so I find that sort of exciting. And I do think it's a funny song. Especially the verses. Like the bit where he's like he's talking about how some ugly guys get with supposedly beautiful girls, and he's like, is he an expert in science, the arts, political theory? No, I think not. I find that very amusing.
yeah,
And then it gets sort of sadder later on, but we'll get there.
yeah. I really like it in. I really like the verses. I like the kind of spoken word part of it.
Mm.
Like I really enjoy, and he's like, I can't remember exactly what he says, but he's like, it is actually economic. If I had more money or to the higher social status, it would have been different,
Mm.
which is really really sad.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, an interesting song. Oh, and I love there's still like lots of funny parts like the theory of opposites.
Oh
No, that
yeah.
theory has been refuted by many
Yeah,
experts in
yeah.
psychology.
um, I think also, at least for me, the sort of, even though this sort of sticks out like a sore thumb in terms of its sound, the rock aesthetic works more for the comedic style that they have. To
Right.
me, uh, so I enjoy it, but maybe more as like a single than a piece on this album.
Mm. Yeah, fair enough. So now this is the final song. You've got to like Suburban Homeboy, right?
I don't love it. Don't hate it. It's fine. It's
Oh,
the lyrics are funny. I think this is some of the weakest instrumentation on here. Um,
see, I like those kind of like horns and piano at the start do such a good job of conveying like the kind of suburb feeling. I don't
wait, really?
I don't know why. I think it's just from like movies I've watched or something because that sounds so familiar to me, like American suburb.
Mm.
Um,
Uh, yeah, I don't hear it personally.
I don't know. There's something so familiar about that opening, and I can't. I've been spent like the last 2 weeks.
I do have written down that it sort of feels like a commercial.
Yeah,
So I guess sort of I see that with some regard, but yeah, ish.
but yeah, this is a song about two white guys from the suburbs, kind of trying to be homeboys and
Mm.
be black, and it's hilarious because they're so white. It's like it sounds like almost like something that would come out of a Jordan Peele movie.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
And
Yeah, that's spot on.
like there's like he mentions his caddy looks like Jay-Z, and again
Yeah.
that's really funny because this is just the complete opposite end of the spectrum of the kind of music Jay-Z would make.
And then I say "yo dog" to my pool cleaning guy.
Yeah, like
That's a funny line. And the where is it? Pop a
she's one.
cap. Where does he say that?
She's one freak bitch, ain't no lie. You
Oh
know.
no, I found it. It's I'll pop a cap up some fool at the Gap. It's the kind of like not posh delivery of it, but kind of also
Yeah,
that
just
makes that amusing.
so like quite proper, and yeah, it's these words should not be coming out of like that mouth,
No.
and it just makes it so funny. And like the she yo-yos at me and I yo-yo her back. Obviously, you say like yo to someone.
Yeah.
Um, oh, I just think the writing in this one is so funny and clever. I just love how light it sounds, and like the end when it's like props to our peeps and please keep our receipts, and they like and they layer it and they have like the organ at the end, so it sounds all kind of like grand and final.
Yeah. I guess it's the case with the whole album. I just don't know when I'd want to listen to this. Like, it feels like the kind of thing I'd be glad. Well, I was glad I listened to it at least once. Obviously, I listened to it a few times, but I can't think of a situation where I'd be like, you know what, I want to bump right now. Some suburban homeboy. Just like, unless I was showing it to someone, it's just like, meh.
Well, okay, so kind of overall thoughts. You weren't that big on this album, but
No,
for all its faults, we've this is
I
obviously
don't think. Sorry, no, you continue.
we're not releasing all of them, but we've done, this will be the 17th album we've talked about and recorded as part of this podcasty thing. And we've covered like different genres. We've done rap music, we've done kind of soul R&B, we've done whatever Radiohead is. um you know have we done anything like this album before? Can you
No,
think of any album that comes even
no.
like remotely close to
No,
what this is?
no. This is. I'm glad that something like this exists, and some like 70-year-old dudes or whatever they are now could be doing something like this. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, they're
That's
50 when they made this.
that's really cool. But it's just not for me. I think if I evaluate it kind of from an objective lens, I do genuinely think it's good. And for the kind of person who likes this kind of thing, this is like really good. But it's just it's not my vibe at all.
Yeah, I can respect that. This is an album that whenever I put it on, this just kind of clicked with me. This was just one of those ones where like, oh, I
Yeah.
am so on board with everything
Mm-hmm.
you're doing for this. I love the comedy. I think it's hilarious. I haven't heard anything quite like it before. And yeah, even though you can't think of a situation where you'd be like, oh, this is where I'd bump this. I've been having this on all the time. I'm driving to the cinema. I'm like, yeah, I'm a suburban homeboy in suburban.
That's a funny image to me.
you know, um, yeah.
That's cool.
No,
That's
that was
cool.
an interesting one. I'm glad this is probably the most divisive episode we've done,
Definitely.
where
Yeah.
we've just been on complete polar opposites.
Like, we've had like specific songs we disagreed on before, but not consistently. So yeah, I am glad I listened to it. Definitely.
Yeah, I think that was an interesting one to talk about. I would still really recommend watching the Sparks Brothers documentary.
It's showing nowhere near me, bro. I've been looking. I can't find it. I would have to go like way off to see it. So I might have to wait till it comes out on streaming or whatever.
Yeah, I mean it's a fantastic documentary, fantastic film, and it works. It's very different to other music documentaries in the sense that a lot of them sort of assume that you already have a relationship with that artist or know their music or their songs and stuff, but this one doesn't. It's I went
It's
with
like an intro to them.
like I went with two people who had no idea what I was taking them to see, knew nothing about the band, had listened to none of their songs, and still kind of really enjoyed it. And it gives you real overview over their entire catalog, and yeah, I don't know. This album is quite different to a lot of their music, so I'd be interested to see what you'd think of other
Mm.
albums, because
Are,
this wouldn't necessarily be representative of their entire
are they
discography.
are they generally more in the pop field or pop sound? Obviously, they're not that popular, but
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, definitely more poppy stuff. No, they still have like the humor thing. Like
Mm.
they've one song called like "The Missionary Position," all about
I think I can infer.
yeah. There's one called like "Scandinavian Design," which is about um IKEA furniture. You know,
That's clever.
so yeah. Even if you didn't like this album, I'd recommend maybe just scrolling through some of their hits and seeing what you think, because they've like worked with like Giorgio Moroder, and they've done like synthy albums and
Mm.
poppy albums and all sorts. So,
Okay, cool. Cool.
well, that was that. We did it. We listened to the album.
Yeah.
We talked about it, and now it's over.
I just I looked. Obviously, we had some technical difficulties earlier, which will be magically removed in editing. But I saw
Mm.
this is 12 minutes long, and I was so confused for a minute.
Oh dear. No.
Yeah.
Other than
Thanks for
that.
listening. I guess.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.